With us on the broadcast is Tommaso Della Longa, spokesperson and manager of the media unit at the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies. Thanks very much for being here on the broadcast. We have those reports of more aid reaching the Gaza Strip now. What can you tell us on that front?
Yeah, so thanks for having me. Well, yes, the good news is that last Saturday, finally, the Rafah border, which means the southern border of the Gaza Strip with Egypt, was open to humanitarian aid. So slowly, some trucks started to enter in the Gaza Strip. Until now, less than 100 trucks entered in the Gaza Strip. Now, there is a positive side of this, the opening of the border. Then we also said, and we keep saying, that is a drop in the ocean. And we are really calling on all the parties to make a continued and sustainable entrance of humanitarian aid every day, because of course the needs in Gaza Strip for more than 2 million people are huge, immense, and to address these needs we need to have much more humanitarian aid inside the Gaza Strip.
Indeed, a drop in the ocean, like you said, because the United Nations has already pointed out how 100 trucks would be required daily as far as meeting the humanitarian needs there on the ground are concerned. But what has already come through is only a fraction of that. But what can you tell us about the latest on the humanitarian situation there?
Well, the humanitarian situation, I use the word that our colleagues of the Palestine Red Crescent are using with us, and they said catastrophic. And it's catastrophic for different reasons. First, because as you correctly pointed out, food and water are running out. There is difficulties to find fuel. And in the Gaza Strip, lack of fuel means lack of generators and then lack of electricity. And of course, a lack of electricity will mean that hospitals cannot work. Water pumps cannot work, desalination cannot work, so they are really life-saving support for the people in Gaza. And what we are hearing from our colleagues in the hospital of Gaza City and Khan Yunis of the Palestine Red Crescent is that they will have fuel for a couple of more days. And this will lead to another catastrophic situation where babies in incubators or people in intensive care unit will not have any more electricity needed. So, of course, it's a great matter of concern for us.
How optimistic are you about the humanitarian pauses and the aid corridors that have been called for, but do not seem to be working out or be anywhere in sight as of now?
Well, what I can tell you is that we, together with different agencies and humanitarian organizations, will continue our diplomacy and our dialogue and negotiation with all the parties. Reality is that we really need a safe humanitarian space where to bring humanitarian aid, so we need a safe access, but also, as I said, a safe space where civilians can get this aid and also find some protection. What is really worrying is that at the moment in the Gaza Strip, one of the most dense populated areas in the world, there is not really a safe space where to stay. So it's really, I want to stay optimistic as I am a humanitarian and I need to, but of course we will continue all our efforts to arrive to these safe spaces.
Right. I want you to elaborate on what you just mentioned. Since the safe zones have also been targeted, what are your teams on the ground telling you about that? And, several reports talking about how there are no safe zones, really.
Well, what Palestine Crescent colleagues are telling us is that mainly people in Gaza have a great confusion because they don't know exactly where to go, where to move, they don't have means to move, and also where to receive basic services. So at the moment we are seeing the schools of UNRWA, the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees, full of refugees, full of people. We are seeing, I give you the example of our two hospitals where there are more than 12,000 people who sought refuge in the hospital because they thought that it was the safest place where to stay. So it's really a difficult situation for all of the people in Gaza because they don't know, again, where to go and how to go and where to find the means to survive. And also, if going back to the hospital, 12,000, can you imagine 12,000 people living in the corridors or in the stair of an hospital in a situation where there is water and food scarcity? Of course, is not sustainable for the future.
I also want to ask you, what are your expectations from the international community at this point and also specifically from India?
Well, I would say that India, as all the key players at global level, really, I mean, the expectation is really to move toward a situation where there will be pauses or safe spaces for civilians, and also, I mean, all the support possible to spare suffering of people in the Gaza Strip. This is really critical. And then, of course, there is also the request of the release, the liberation of all the hostages without any condition and immediately. These are the two things that are really concern the most us.
All right, we're leaving it there for the moment. Thanks very much for being here on the broadcast.
Thank you.
We are now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the updates on the move.